Good evening. If anyone in the audience requires a headset for Spanish translation, please raise your hand and a device will be provided to you. Member Espercueta?
Buenas tardes a todos. Vamos a empezar la audiencia. ¿Alguno de ustedes que necesiten audífonos para que se les traduzca en español? Por favor, pueden levantar su mano en cualquier momento y se les va a proveer unos audífonos. Gracias.
Thank you, Mr. Espercueta. Welcome to the Palm Springs Unified School District regular meeting of the Board of Education. Today is Tuesday, June 9th, 2026. We're so glad you're here with us, whether you are joining us in person or watching us along on YouTube. Thank you for being part of tonight's meeting. I will now call the meeting to order. Can I get a roll call, please?
Member Jarrell? Member Espericueta?
Here.
Member Girardi?
Here.
Vice President Irvin?
Here.
And President Cornett.
Here. Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Superintendent Marcus Funchest. Item 6D, our mission statement will be read by Clayton Hill in English and by Monica Borrego in Spanish.
All members of the Palm Springs Unified School District are united in our commitment to equity. We create deep, meaningful learning opportunities, build professionalism, and engage parents and community to ensure success for all students. All students graduate with the skills, capabilities, capacities, and confidence needed to succeed in a rapidly changing world.
Todos los miembros del Distrito Escolar Unificado de Palm Springs están unidos en nuestro compromiso con la equidad. Creamos oportunidades de aprendizaje profundas y significativas. Creamos profesionalismo e involucramos a los padres y a la comunidad para garantizar el éxito de todos los estudiantes. Todos los estudiantes se gradúan con las habilidades, capacidades y confianza necesaria para tener éxito en un mundo de cambio rápido.
Thank you. Item 6D, our land acknowledgement will be read by Vice President Irvin.
Palm Springs Unified School District acknowledged the Cahuilla as the original stewards of the land on which Palm Springs Unified School District facilities now sit. We are grateful to have the opportunity to work with the indigenous people in this place. We pay our respects to the Cahuilla people past, present, and emerging who have been here since the time of immemorial.
Thank you. Item 7, report of closed session. Clerk Irvin, are there any closed session actions to report?
Yes, in closed session, the board took action to place a certificated employee number 161554 on a compensatory leave of absence pursuant the Education Code Section 44940 and directed the superintendent or the designee to issue appropriate legal notification or notice.
Thank you. Number 8, approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I move the motion.
Can I get a second?
I second.
Are there any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 9, approval of meeting minutes for May 26, 2026. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes? Can I get a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Number 10, the governing board wishes to recognize and commend the following employees for the month of June 2026. We'll have a short video produced by our digital media specialist.
The English Learning Department is recognizing Lorena Ortiz as our June Employee of the Month. In November, there was a vacancy for this position. And so since November, Lorena pretty much stepped up and really supported the department in so many ways. I really like her organization, the knowledge base she has of the department, different practices, and she was the one that pretty much helped me do the smooth transition into my department. Just kind of really learning from her what's going on and being able to take it from there. And love her communication skills, how she interacts with others, and she always has a smile on her face and always looking at things positively and finding ways to problem solve any challenges are given our way. And not only do you see it here in the office, but when we interact with families and students and the community and teachers, she's very diligent, committed to what she's doing, and has a strong work ethic, so we're very proud of her and all the work she's done. So Lorena, thank you for all you've done for the department and for me personally, for allowing me to be successful in this position. I couldn't have done it without you.
At this time, will the Governing Board, Executive Cabinet, and Dr. Ariza please join me at the front of the room? The Governing Board wishes to recognize and commend the following Classified Employee of the Month for June 2026, Lorena Ortiz from the English Language Learners Program. Lorena, is there anyone in the audience who you'd like to acknowledge, recognize, or invite up to join you?
Well, my son is here and my best friend, and obviously my team. Whoever made it here, can you please come up over here? Melody, please join us. Janet, Rita, Letty, the other Janet. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations. Up next, the Governing Board would like to recognize and commend the following scholars for academic excellence. First up, we have Victor Muñiz Inda from Desert Springs Middle School. Dr. Ariza, would you like to share a few words about Victor?
Yes, I will. I first want to thank the family for joining Victor this evening, and also for my staff to be present. I'm going to just read what one of my staff members talked about Victor. Actually, this was Lorena who wrote about Victor. So we would like to recognize Victor Muñiz Inda for all his dedication and amazing efforts. I met Victor back in 2022 when he was enrolled at Cabot Yorkshire Elementary School. From the very beginning, I recognized that Victor was a student of full passion for learning. Although he did not know any English when he arrived at our school, I noticed that he was never afraid to try speaking English. Victor began attending the newcomer support program along with his sister at Cabot Yorkshire, where he worked with Maria Rodriguez during the afternoons practicing phonics and blending. He learned high frequency words very quickly and continued making excellent progress as he transitioned to middle school. Maria was always happy to share updates about his growth and success in the newcomer support program. During the last Saturday session, Lorena had the opportunity to see Victor again during LPAC reading practice session and was truly impressed to hear him reading and speaking English fluently. It is very rewarding to see how far Victor has come through all his hard work, determination, and effort, and we're incredibly proud of his accomplishments and excited to see his continued success in the future. Congratulations, Victor.
Victor, would you like to invite anybody up to join you tonight? His mom and dad. Thank you, Victor, and congratulations. The next scholar that we'd like to recognize for academic excellence is Maximiliano Ramirez Lopez from Cathedral City High School. Dr. Ariza, would you like to share a few words about Maximiliano?
Yes. Maximiliano is a student at Cathedral City High School. He's an exceptional individual who consistently demonstrates both academic excellence and strong character. Maintaining good grades across all subjects, he shows a deep commitment to learning and a genuine desire to succeed. Beyond his own achievements, he's always willing to support classmates and assist teachers, making him a valued member of the school community. His active participation in after-school clubs reflects his dedication to personal growth and involvement beyond the classroom. In just 3 years in the United States, he has developed strong English skills. His determination and hard work are especially admirable. Additionally, his pursuit of classes to become a teacher highlights his passion for education and his desire to give back to others. He's a respectful, motivated, and inspiring student who sets a positive example for his peers. Congratulations, Maximiliano.
Would you like to invite anybody up to join you at the front? Thank you and congratulations. Up next, the governing board would like to recognize and commend the following parents for being involved in school site activities and events. Up first, we have our DLAC representative from Rio Vista Elementary School, Crisel Garcia. Dr. Ariza, would you like to share a few words about Crisel?
Yes, we would like to recognize Grisel Garcia for her dedication, leadership, and commitment to supporting English learners. As an active member of both ELAC and DLAC, she consistently works to ensure that parents stay informed and involved. She faithfully brings important information and resources from DLAC meetings back to the parents at her school site, helping families better understand program services and opportunities available for English learners. She's always thinking ahead and planning ways to support our English learners in achieving success, especially in preparing students to pass the LPAC exam. Her passion for student achievement and parent involvement is evident in everything she does. We actually just met last week here with several of her staff members to talk about LPAC, so thank you, Lisa, for that. In addition to her leadership and advocacy, she is also a proud parent of 2 students attending Rio Vista Elementary School. Her dedication to education and service reflects a strong partnership between families and schools that help students thrive. We sincerely thank her for her tireless support, positive spirit, and commitment to the success for all English learners. Thank you, Grisel.
Grisel, is there someone in the audience who you'd like to invite up to join you? Thank you and congratulations. The next parent our governing board wishes to recognize and commend is the DLAC representative from Cielo Vista Charter School, Nancy Nava. Dr. Ariza, would you like to share a few words about Nancy?
Yes, Nancy Nava is a dedicated and highly involved parent within the Palm Springs Unified School District community. As an active member of both ELAC and DLAC, Nancy consistently advocates for students and families, ensuring their voices are heard and their needs are supported. Nancy is recognized as a strong advocate for the ELAC committee and for her commitment to improving opportunities for students and families. She's always seeking valuable resources, programs, and support services that can positively impact the school community. Her passion for education and family engagement has made her a respected and trusted leader among parents and staff alike. Nancy is also a proud mother of 3 students within the district, 2 currently attending Cielo Vista Charter School and 1 attending Rancho Mirage High School. Her involvement reflects not only her dedication to her own children's education, but also her commitment to helping all students succeed academically and personally. Through her leadership, advocacy, and continued support of educational initiatives, Nancy Nava exemplifies what it means to be an engaged and empowering parent within the Palm Springs Unified School District. Congratulations, Ms. Nava.
Nancy, would you like to invite anybody up to join you? Su esposo, hija, directora Pérez Chica. Thank you and congratulations. Up next, the Governing Board wishes to recognize and commend the following recipients of the 2026 State Model Student Attendance Review Board SARB Award. And here with us from Riverside County Office of Education, Division of Leadership, Wellness, and Student Services is Dr. Pablo Sanchez and Dr. Jason Jones. Please join us at the front. And they will be sharing a few words about the recognition prior to calling up the recipients.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And congratulations to all the folks who were recognized today. Let's give them one more round of applause. So we have the opportunity to recognize your district, and so just want to say good evening to President Cornett, Superintendent Funches, and members of the board, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak this evening. I'm Dr. Jason Jones. This is my colleague, Dr. Pablo Sanchez, and we represent Leadership, Wellness, and Student Services Division at the Riverside County Office of Education. Our COE is committed to supporting every student in Riverside County so that they graduate ready for success in school, career, and life. On behalf of Dr. Edwin Gomez, Riverside County Superintendent of Schools, we commend you for being named a Model SARB district for your leadership in reducing chronic absenteeism and strengthening student engagement through early intervention, family partnerships, mental health supports, and positive school connectedness. Please give yourselves a big round of applause. This recognition reflects Palm Springs' deep commitment to ensuring every student feels supported, valued, and connected to schools. Congratulations to the dedicated staff, families, and community partners whose collaborative efforts continue to make a meaningful difference in the lives of students every day. Thank you for your commitment to creating schools where both students and adults can thrive. We'd like to call up the attendance team now for this recognition.
We have Mr. Garrett Chaperjon, Deanna Bertado Chavez, Lorena Castañeda, Yolanda Cordova, Leslie Coronado, Viviana Velázquez, and Olivia Zarco Sale.
I want to thank the Board of Education to start for their support in this work. Getting our students to school every day is my team's biggest responsibility, and so we can't do it without the support of the board and the cabinet, and also my team. So part of them are here tonight. I've been in this job for a year. They are fantastic. I can't imagine working without them. So thank you, and there you are. Thank you. Thank you all. You make coming to work every day a joy, and I hope that we have years together to do this work.
Step in the middle.
Thank you, and this concludes our special recognitions. Thank you, and this concludes our special recognitions.
Item 11, public comment. Vice President Irvin, have we received any electronic comments?
Yes, we received 5 electronic comments, which were distributed to the Board of Education.
Thank you. In-person comments. All comments are to be directed to the board to be under 3 minutes and shall be devoid of any personal attacks. Members of the public are expected to maintain a professional, courteous decorum during public comments. Board members do not respond to public comments. Do we have any members of the public who wish to address the Board of Education? If you do, you need a yellow card, and she will be giving you. Ms. Martin will be passing out yellow cards. First up, Bianca Guillermo.
My name is Bianca Guerrero. I am a member of Nellie Kaufman Middle School Skills USA. We returned from the National Leadership and Skills Conference on Saturday, which was held in Atlanta, Georgia. I'd like to inform you on how we did. We had 14 students who competed. First, Ofelia Flores competed in job skills demonstration and won a bronze medal. Second, Malia Jaramillo competed in t-shirt design and won a silver medal. Third, Mateo Olivo Cruz and Nolan Thibodeau competed in additive manufacturing and won a bronze medal. Fourth, Ryan Moran, Ethan Contreras, and Gilberto Salomon Lugo competed in promotional bulletin board and won a silver medal. I and 6 other girls competed in opening and closing ceremonies, and I am happy to tell you that we are the national champions. Every student who competed made it to the top 3. All of us also visited the National Center for Civil and Human Rights and the World of Coca-Cola Museum. We would all like to thank the school board and the district for their support. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Inka.
If you haven't filled out a yellow card, please raise your hand if you would like to speak to the board. Next up, we have Connie Mitchell.
I would just like to take a moment to add my thanks for the years of support that the school district, that the board have given the Skills USA chapter at Nellie Kaufman. This was an incredible experience for all of us. And I want to especially thank Joan Boyko because she managed to get the press there at the airport to meet us and interview us. And we feel very honored and proud to represent our school, our families, and this district. Thank you.
Next up, we have Martha Hunter.
I can't see the clock. That would be why. Okay. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Martha Hunter, and I've had the privilege of interacting with each of you in various capacities during my 15 and a half years here at Palm Springs Unified School District. I want to be direct with you tonight. The early years of my tenure was genuinely fulfilling. I poured everything into this work as a science teacher, as a campus leader, and as someone who believed in what the district says it stands for. I was recognized as Teacher of the Year, and I earned that recognition through consistent dedication to my students and my colleagues. But my final years here did not reflect that same standard. There was an incident between myself and a now retired employee. I did the right thing. I followed the procedure, I reported it through the proper channels, and I received no resolution. I specifically requested that restorative justice practices be applied, the same practices we ask our students to embrace. That request was not honored. What was followed was a pattern of protocols going unfollowed, of my contributions being overlooked, and of realizing that the values written on the wall did not always extend to the people doing the work inside the building. That experience led me to reevaluate my situation, put my family first, and leave my post at CCHS. So why am I here tonight? Because I teach my students, if you see something, say something. Because Representative John Lewis called us to make good trouble, and I am here tonight to make good trouble. I am speaking for myself and for every colleague who wanted to be here tonight, but stayed home out of fear of retaliation. I want to be brave for them. My ask to this board is clear. Stand behind your teachers. When we follow procedure, honor it. When we request restorative practices, use them. When we raise concerns, investigate and respond with action, not silence. Teacher feedback should not disappear without resolution. It should drive decisions at every level of this board and of this district. You have written a vision that every graduate leaves with the skills and confidence to succeed in a changing world. That starts with the adults in this district modeling exactly that, speaking up, being heard, and seeing accountability follow. What I am asking for tonight is not a raise or a plaque. I'm asking this board to stand behind the people who stand in front of your children every single day. Listen to us. Act on what we tell you. And when a teacher raises her hand and says something is wrong, do not make her fight to be heard. That is the least this district owes us, and the most our students need from you.
You have 15 seconds.
Thank you. 15 and a half years, I gave everything to this district. I had tonight, am asking you to make sure that the next Martha Hunter does not have to choose between her dignity and her career. Thank you.
Carrie Claypool.
Good evening. My name is Carrie Claypool. I am here to speak on behalf of colleagues at Cathedral City High School and within the district as a whole. First, I want to say our students in this district are amazing students. I have the pleasure of working in Desert Hot Springs and in Cathedral City the last 10 years, and they're amazing students. I transferred into CCHS from Painted Hills Middle School fall of 2024 to work as a mild moderate intervention specialist, and I almost immediately regretted it. I left a really great admin team at PHMS. No admin team is perfect, but the level of communication and planning we had as a school was instrumental in our improvement as a school culture and community, and our test scores during my time there reflected that. Now I work at a school where the principal won't look me in the eye, much less communicate with me. Ms. Barch has lied to me since my first day at CCHS. The most recent set of lies, for which I've brought email proof, was regarding switching the mild mod integrated math 3 class to consumer math, which makes more sense for students with disabilities. Initially, I was fed a line that was up to the district office in spite of the fact that the math TOSA and the special ed department assured me it was a school site decision. Over the course of a few emails in a few months' time, Ms. Barch made it clear to me it was her decision and she'd been lying to me prior to that. I'm a professional. I've worked in 3 different fields. I have never had a manager lie to me to placate me and then avoid eye contact when they finally revealed what they really wanted. Ms. Barch could have told me her decision in May of 2025, but was dishonest because she knew I was good at teaching math, and she was worried I would try to transfer out. And that is not the behavior of a true leader. The current CCH administration has no interest in the ultimate lives of the majority of their students. Their focus is on the IB program, which only fully enrolls about 10 students out of the whole student body. Students are not held accountable for misbehaviors. This is a district-wide problem. I think the district in general has forgotten that developmentally speaking, preteens and teenagers lied to get out of trouble. I did it, you did it, we all did it. We all lied to get out of trouble. There's been a culture created wherein every student's account of their interactions with teachers have been deemed 100% true without talking to other students or other adults even in the room for verification. Teachers being called and asked to explain why they made a student upset by asking them to do things that are necessary to be scholars. Your word, Mr. Funches, Dr. Funches. This is not a matter of teachers not using positive behavior strategies. This is ignorance with regards to real trauma-informed classrooms and how they work. That is what my master's degree is in, trauma-informed classrooms. You cannot build resilience in students if they never suffer consequences to their behaviors, whether that be an F due to the lack of work completion, or a teacher expressing frustration at the lack of engagement or care the students have with regard to their work.
You have
You are
20
not
seconds.
building people to work in the real world, which is why I went into teaching. I have resigned from the district as effective June 30th after 10 years of loyal service. Unlike my colleagues who remain at CCHS, I have the luxury of speaking directly about the issues I've seen and experienced without fear of retaliation. And retaliation has been observed in my 2 years of time there. I appreciate your time, and I truly hope you take a good look at what's been going on here.
Next, we have Adriana Delgado, and is it Isabella Quiros?
Hello, I am Isabella Quiroz, and hi, I'm Aubriana Delgado. We are here from James Workman Middle School, and we are both in ASB. We came here to speak about 8th grade promotion. We feel that the 8th graders deserve a promotion. They have been working hard for these past 3 years and tried their best and being in class on time. So this is why we believe, and also I have asked multiple 8th graders, and they have said that they preferred an 8th grade promotion instead of a field trip. And they deserve that as well, to have an 8th grade promotion, because they have been working like very hard, and they even believe, if our principal has been telling them multiple times, go to school on time, have fun, go in class on time, don't be late, and they do that, and they try their best every single day. And even if like we can't get a promotion, that's okay, but we're just trying to come here today and speak beyond what we believe is best for our school. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Next, Zulima Munoz. Excuse me.
Good evening, board members. As you can tell, that's my daughter. I'm here representing the 8th graders and not just James Workman Middle School, but the whole entire district, because I believe that 8th graders work very hard, especially to get to a different school, which is high school, which is two different things. I do believe that they should get recognized at the end of the year and have a promotion, because they deserve it, from 6th grade to 8th grade. And I want you guys to change that in the district, because I'm a former, I can't even speak, former Palm Springs Unified School District student, and we had our promotion. I still remember that day. They should have a promotion. So I called, I thought it was just like a COVID thing after, but it's not, because I've called over 50 schools in California, from LA County, San Diego County, Orange County, even up north, and all 8th grade schools, they still have their 8th grade promotion. How come our district don't have that for them? They deserve that. Thank you.
Next, Ashley Bray.
Good evening. My name is Ashley Bray. I am the art teacher at Desert Learning Academy, and I'm here to speak truly from my heart. Next year will be my 3rd year working at DLA and my 10th year working in the Palm Springs School District. I want to share with you tonight my perspective as an educator of the incredible community that Desert Learning Academy provides for its students and families. My first 7 years as an art teacher, I worked at Raymond Cree Middle School, and I am very grateful to have been provided with the opportunity to grow into the teacher that I now am today. Often as an educator, especially in the middle school education, you are asked to remember your why. 2 years ago, I was provided with an opportunity, although I made a huge difference in students' lives, providing students with an education in the arts, I often asked myself, what was my why? 2 years ago, I was provided with an opportunity to create an art program at Desert Learning Academy for students ranging from elementary all the way up to high school. As I was excited to start a new journey at Desert Learning Academy and teach students of various ages, it presented its own challenge as I created a unique art-based curriculum for the students at DLA that provides students with not only an art education with the elements and principles, but an immersive background in art history. Since I have started at DLA, I have noticed what a unique educational system it truly is, and how it provides an education for students coming from various cultural backgrounds, belief systems, learning levels, physical and mental abilities, students dealing with grief and loss, students who have extreme amounts of anxiety. Those are just a couple of examples of types of students that we see at Desert Learning Academy. I have only worked at Desert Learning Academy for a short amount of time, but I have been able to provide an art-based education for students who have multiple siblings, and I have been able to see them grow in the educational community that Desert Learning Academy provides, where they can all attend one school as a family. I think that creates a very unique learning experience. I truly believe that working at DLA has helped me see my why in education, and I have been able to provide a safe learning space for these students and a community where they feel comfortable learning. I ask the board to please consider the incredible school that Desert Learning Academy truly is. Thank you.
Next, Margine Juarez.
Good evening, board members. I'm here because I'm a parent from DLA. I have 3 sons who are all enrolled, who are thriving in the program, incredibly thriving. I have 1 son who has autism. He is going to become a sophomore this year. His education has been extremely challenging. As you guys know, people with autism are often bullied. I'm sorry, I might get a little emotional. I used to volunteer at Agua Caliente when my son was younger. I got to see my son bullied in front of me almost daily. It was difficult as a parent to not have anyone to turn to that could stop it. And it got to the point where I was there when my son was being choked in the bathroom. Immediately when the pandemic hit, I pulled my kids out 2 weeks before the pandemic hit. It was really heavy. And DLA was a program really new, and my kids have been going, and it's a place where my heart can find peace because I know that my kid isn't getting bullied there. He's not there physically, except for once a week. I know that for you guys, maybe it's funding, I don't know what the problem is, but I really hope that you guys are considering keeping the program going because a lot of us parents will pull our kids out of the Palm Springs Unified School District. Thank you.
Next, Iona Robles.
Hi, my name is Ioana Robles, and I'm a math teacher at Desert Learning Academy. I would like to begin by thanking the board members and Dr. Funches for attending our Desert Learning Academy graduation on May 29th and for seeing firsthand what DLA means for our students and families. Since the last board meeting, several questions raised by former DLA graduate Colette McDaniel have stayed with me, and her story has been on my mind and heart. It made me think of our 320 students and families and the questions they might ask if DLA no longer existed in the way they know it today. At DLA, we continue to serve students whose needs are not met in a traditional setting. Students from religious backgrounds whose families have chosen a hybrid learning environment. Students who no longer feel safe because of bullying or unsafe experiences. Students recovering from serious medical conditions. Students facing transportation barriers. Students working to support their families or caring for younger siblings. And students struggling with serious mental health challenges. If DLA no longer existed, what would we tell these students? Where would they go? And most importantly, what would happen to them? According to recent California youth mental health data, about 1 in 3 students report chronic sadness or hopelessness. More than 1 in 10 report suicidal thoughts. Youth self-harm and suicide rates remain high. What will happen to the students who struggle with anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, who cannot walk onto a traditional campus without risking their mental health if DLA does not exist? For the past 11 years, DLA has provided a sense of belonging, safety, support, flexibility, hope, and connection to students who often struggle to find those things in a traditional setting. The district's own Panorama survey shows that DLA students report feeling safe, supported, and connected to school. Secondary students report safety levels 16 points above the district average. For many students, DLA is more than a school. It is the first place where these students feel known, supported, and successful. While discussions about the future of DLA continue, the needs of the students we serve have not changed. If DLA no longer exists as a school, what will happen to our students? Palm Springs Unified exists to serve our students, the future. From classroom teachers to district personnel, we all share this responsibility. Our traditional schools are struggling, have declining enrollment, and need improvement. In a time like this, we need more schools like DLA, not fewer. Dismantling, restructuring, or closing programs that are working goes against what students need. DLA needs to be protected, strengthened, and expanded. I respectfully ask the board to keep students like Colette and the many students and families who rely on DLA at the forefront of any discussions, recommendations, restructuring plans, or proposals regarding the future of Desert Learning Academy.
You have
Thank you, and I
15
did leave a
seconds.
packet for the board concerning DLA information. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the comments tonight regarding DLA and board. I did want to assure you that as the district considers opportunities for dual enrollment, middle college opportunities, there are no plans that we have at this time to close DLA or to end independent study. So just wanted to make sure that I addressed that tonight, but more information to come there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Funchest. Item 12, approval of salary and employment agreement of Coordinator of Special Education Identification and Early Intervention, OE-4.4. Can I get a motion to approve the following agreement?
I move the motion for approval.
We'll do that first and then,
Need a second?
second.
Second.
Okay, any questions right now? We're going to turn it over to Mr. Hill.
All right, thank you, Board President Cornett, esteemed board members. It's my pleasure to recommend Karis Briley for the position of Coordinator of Special Education and Early Intervention. Ms. Briley holds a master's in arts for special education and from National University, that is, a bachelor's of arts, philosophy, and religion from Texas Wesleyan University, and she's been chipping away at her doctorate level education leadership courses through Capella. Ms. Briley has served in numerous capacities within the special education setting, from the classroom to program specialist, preschool administrator, assistant principal. She's currently an assistant principal for us here at Cabot Yerxa Elementary School. She's worked at several districts and the county level in these various capacities. She's currently serves again at Cabot Yerxa, where she supports student achievement, multi-tier systems of support, special education services, and school-wide instructional and behavioral programs. Her current supervisor has said the following: Ms. Briley demonstrates a deep understanding of strategies that support students with unique needs, equipping teachers and staff with tools and guidance to enhance student success. Welcome, Ms. Briley. I'm sorry, yes, Ms. Briley, please address the board and introduce any guests that may be in the audience tonight.
Thank you very much. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Board of Education of Palm Springs Unified for their confidence and trust in me. I am truly honored and grateful to be in this particular appointment for Coordinator of Special Education Identification and Early Intervention. I also want to express my heartfelt gratitude to my family. I have my brother Jack here, who came all the way from Louisiana. I want to thank him and the rest of my family for their unwavering support, encouragement, and belief in me throughout my career. Additionally, I'd like to say thank you to the staff and community at Cabot Yerxa. It has been a privilege to work alongside dedicated educators and professionals who are committed to serving students every day. I've learned so much from each of you, and I'm grateful for the relationships and experiences that we have shared. Throughout my career, I've had a passion for supporting students with diverse learning needs and ensuring that every child has access to meaningful opportunities for growth and success. In this new role, I look forward to partnering with our families, staff, and administrators to continue strengthening services and supports for our students. Thank you. Thank you, Board.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion passed.
Congratulations.
Number 13, presentation. 13A is Local Control and Accountability Plan, the LCAP presentation OE-10. Dr. Kovacs will introduce Mark Arnold.
Yes, Mr. Mark Arnold, our Executive Director of Student Learning, is stepping in for Dr. Pfeffer, who isn't here this evening, but he's stepping into one of his previous roles, so he's going to do a great job. So he will be presenting our 26-27 annual update of the 3-year LCAP, and he will also be presenting on Cielo Vista as well.
All right, thank you, Dr. Kovacs. Good evening, school board members and executive cabinet. As Dr. Kovacs said, I'll be presenting the 26-27 local control accountability plan updates for both our district as well as Cielo Vista Charter, and Ms. Parachica is here to answer any questions related to CVC. So the 26-27 update is to the 24-27 3-year LCAP plan. It is the final year of this 3-year LCAP plan. This annual review needs to happen every year to ensure that we're making revisions and modifications as are appropriate. This plan, this update to this plan needs to be approved by the school board by June 30th, 2026. So if the next school board member will bring this back for your approval. First of all, one of the things we have to look at is just reflecting on the 2025 California School Dashboard. So PSUSD was identified for differentiated assistance for 2 student groups based on the fall 2024 dashboard, and those groups were foster youth and American Indians. For the 2025 dashboard, both of those student groups did make progress, but the differentiated assistance identification is for 2 years. So regardless of whether you make progress or not, you hold that designation for 2 years. Also, PSUSD currently has 0 schools identified for comprehensive support and improvement. That aligns with what we did in 2024, where we had 0 schools identified, and it's a big improvement over the 2023 dashboard, where we had 5 schools that were identified. At this time, we still have 1 school that's in additional support and additional targeted support and improvement, ATSI, and then one school that was identified for TSI this based on the 2025 dashboard. This again is a big improvement over what we had in the fall 2024 dashboard, where 6 schools were identified for ATSI and 2 schools were identified for TSI. And then in 2023 dashboard, you can see we had 15 schools identified for ATSI. So good improvement is being made there. All right, so this is just a slide that has all the different sections of the LCAP that I'll be going over tonight. I'll be taking time on each of these different sections with the exception of the first one, which is a budget overview for parents. That's at the very beginning of the LCAP, and again, it's about a 3 or 4 page document that just is a quick snapshot of the budget and how it's being utilized. Easier for parents to understand than the big LCAP, which is over 200 pages now. So the plan summary components, basically the first part is that we give some general information about the district, and then we spend some time reflecting on where we're at with our student population. We identify successes and identified needs. We talk about some of the dashboard data that I just discussed. It also, you need to hit on how we're spending right now the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant funds, as well as there's a section there to really address what we're doing with the CSI schools, which, like I just said, we have no schools in CSI at this time. The next section is on engaging educational partners. So this is something that we do a very comprehensive job of really ensuring that we have heard all of our community members' voices. Again, we get a number of commendations from RCOE regarding the amount of input opportunities that we have for our community, our teachers, and our staff. So I'll just kind of go over some of the highlights there. We have a number of parent advisory committees, and you can see kind of when those parent groups were meeting to provide input for the LCAP. We have our LCAP district advisory team that's made up of classified management and certificated staff members that meet 4 times throughout the school year to reflect on the LCAP and any adjustments or modifications that should be made. New within the last couple of years was that we now have an LCAP student ambassador group, which also meets 4 times a day or 4 times throughout the year, and that's comprised of various students from each of our different high schools. And then we have other various sources of getting input as well. The 2 of the key ones there are the Panorama Survey. You can see the dates when that was implemented, as well as the Thought Exchange Survey. And I have our numbers here. For the Panorama, we had a total of 13,900 surveys completed. And for the Thought Exchange, we had 538 different participants. So we maintain our same 3 LCAP goals. I won't read through. The numbering got kind of messed up there. The first one is really focused on academics. The second one is focused on parent and community engagement. And the third one is focused on a physically and emotionally safe learning environments for our students. There are additional goals as well, and these are the equity multiplier focus goals. These funds are annually awarded to qualified schools. And your eligible schools are determined by the percentage of students who are eligible for free and reduced lunch, and also they must have a non-stable student percentage. So that means that there's somewhat of a transient population within that school environment. You can see that the schools that qualify for those funds in our district are Mount San Jacinto, Desert Learning Academy, and Julius Corsini Elementary. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we come to a slide later on in the presentation. So our first goal is the largest one, academic achievement. There are 21 different actions there. You can see all of the actions are listed there, as well as the funding that's aligned with those actions. On the next few slides, I'll talk specifically about a few different actions to give you an example of how they're written. So the first action we'll talk about is multi-tiered systems of support for academic supports. So this includes things like you can see there, the components of the system include primary reading intervention teachers and the paraprofessionals that also support that, as well as secondary math intervention programs that we have in place at both the middle and the high school. You can see there's other expenditures as well, but those are 2 of the key ones in this action. The next one is 1.6, English learner support. So you can see here, we're supporting the coordinator of English language learners, our community liaisons, and a teacher on special assignment. We also are supporting the counselors on special assignment, which we have in place at each of our comprehensive high schools. 1.8 is the dual immersion program, which is really, again, that funding is used to support all of our certificated staffing at those sites, as well as our teacher on special assignment, which supports our dual immersion program. Within our CTE programs, you can see how much funding is spent there, but it's supporting our administrative, certificate, and classified personnel either fully or partially with their salaries. It also is including some of our professional development opportunities, as well as our work-based learning teachers. And our final one for academic achievement is arts and education and enrichment. So it's providing a number of different art enrichment opportunities and experiences for our students. It's also providing some additional funding to our secondary band and choir programs. LCAP Goal 2 is parent and community engagement. This is just a quick summary. It's our shortest goal area. You can see there are 4 different actions there. I don't have examples on these on the next ones, but I can kind of talk. The first one, District Family Engagement Center, is really supporting the staffing involved in our parent engagement centers. The second one really is our school site parent support staff, which is really focused on our FACES specialists that we have out at our sites, as well as we have our bilingual technicians that support our Desert Hot Springs High School or Desert Hot Springs Elementary School sites. LCAP Goal 3 is our safe and healthy learning environment. So you can see within this action, there are 14 different, or within this goal, there are 14 different actions. And you can see those actions and the funding aligned to those actions. And again, we'll talk specifically about some of those as we go through here. So the first one, similar to what we had for academic supports, we have multi-tiered systems of support for SEL and behavior supports. So this includes things like funding for our behavioral TOSA, our behavioral analysts, and our behavioral interventionist. It also supports our MTSS coaches, which we have in place at all of our middle school and high school sites. And it also supports the Panorama Survey, which is our way of evaluating how some of these actions are impacting our students. 3.12 is our prevention specialists, which are in place to support high-risk students in order to reduce chronic absenteeism rates, as well as dropout and suspension rates. This slide just talks about all the different actions that are specifically aligned to support those student groups that were identified for differentiated assistance. So again, the American Indian and foster youth, and within the actions when they're written in the LCAP, it specifically explains how they address the needs of those 2 student groups. This is just our slide. Again, we talked about the equity multiplier goals prior. This is just a little bit more information about what each of our sites are doing with the additional funding that they receive. So you can see, again, our plans for MSJ, Desert Learning Academy, as well as Julius Corsini Elementary. Kind of near the end of the LCAP, there's a large portion of the LCAP which is really talking about increased and improved services. So how we're improving services for our unduplicated student populations, which is our low income, our English learners, and our foster youth and homeless. Near the very end of the LCAP are a number of different action tables, which are really just different ways to show how we're spending the finances and the funding that we have within the LCAP. So there's different ones there. I won't go through into specifics on each one of those. So if we look at the 2026-27 version of our 3-year LCAP, you can see that we had supplemental and concentration funding just over $91 million. Our total LCFF LCAP expenditures within the LCAP total over $93 million. You can see that we have additional federal funding included in the LCAP that's just over $8 million. This year we have other state funds included in the LCAP, including the equity multiplier, which we talked about, the LRE, the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant, and then as well the Literacy Coaches and Reading Specialist Grant. And you can see those total just under $36 million. So you can see that all the total amount of funds in the LCAP focused on increasing or improving services for our foster youth, our English learners, and our low-income students total just over $137 million. If we take a second to look at at the CVC LCAP, you can see that goals 1 and 2. Goal 1 is really focused on the academic supports that they have in place, professional development, their instructional coaches, and their intervention staffing. Their second actions are really focused on have things such as world language opportunities, as well as ELL support. Goal 3.1 is focused really on the safe and healthy learning environment, really what supports is CVC putting into place. And goal 4 is really focused on parent engagement. So if we look at their summary, you can see that kind of the same breakdown as we showed within the district funding, but their total comes to just over $4 million in complete funding within their LCAP. So with that, are there any questions at all that you might have?
Yes. May I ask, and Juanito can jump up and tell us, but approximately how many students do you serve? And we saw the amount of money. What has changed, and how are you doing things different with this year's spending?
Juanito, come up.
I'm just wondering. Oh, yeah, it's on. Yeah.
So our total student population is 848 scholars, and some changes because of the unduplicated count brought in less revenue. So some areas that we had to cut out of our LCAP was art. We're gonna bring that in different ways: after school program, ELOP, through the STEAM program. We're gonna bring it through STEAM, and it's going to be more cross-curricular, and some other changes. When we look at like it was least impact to student outcomes, reading and writing and math. So we did have less revenue come in, and those were the changes that were made.
Did you also, I just wonder, because you have such a broad range of programs and activities and things, did you also write grants for your school?
We have a current grant right now that's written to do service learning with our community, but a lot of that is funded through ELOP. So the expanded learning that we have money through that, we have about 1.3 million allocated for 27-28. Which is actually about $180,000 less of revenue that we had this current year. So we had to be strategic on making a little bit of shifts. But to answer your question, we are not writing grants this upcoming year, but we are being very strategic on how do we provide enrichment opportunities that are going to enhance reading, math, and writing. So we want our kids to have an opportunity to be enrolled, enlisted, or employed by the time they're 18 years old. So we backwards map from that and create opportunities, whether it's through ELOP, through LCAP money, general fund money, and our federal money that comes in.
Thank you for answering my questions.
Absolutely. Any other questions? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just curious. You said you declined a little bit. What was those numbers prior to this year?
Yeah, so our unduplicated count was about 96% free and reduced. So when we look at that, to about 89%.
And then what about your population of students?
Our enrollment started at 852, and we're about 848. In previous, if we compared the last, I would say 3 years, we were close to about 888. But with facility and the changes, we had to bring down enrollment a little bit just for the safety also of the kids. So we're sitting Comfortably, we could have about 875, but we keep it between 850 and 875 kids.
Thank you.
So we're at 848. Mhm.
Any other questions?
Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful evening.
Are we in the second year or 3-year cycle? The third year?
Thank you, Mr. Arnold. Next, item 13B, 2026-2027 adopted budget presentation, OE 6. Mr. Simmons will present.
All right, thank you so much, Board. Nothing like a good LCAP presentation and budget presentation to clear the room, so. It's good stuff, though. First, I'd like to start out by kind of drawing your attention to the budget book. Each year we've been doing this since I started. It's no longer just the SACS forms. In fact, the first 25 pages, Tony works very hard on to summarize and make sure that you have a lot of the information that is in this presentation as well, but this is what gets published on our website. So it's got our allocations, projections, site allocations, and so forth. So there's a lot of good information in this book. The other thing I'd like to point out is the design of the book. So this is actually designed by one of our students at Nellie Kaufman. Her name is Bianca Guerrero. And you might recall last year we kind of did the same thing with the digital arts class. Connie Mitchell, the teacher there, worked with Tony and me in regards to the cover. And this is the second year we've been able to do this. She designed the front and back cover and did a great job. She's got her picture inside that cover as well. So big thanks to Bianca, and a big thanks to Nellie Kaufman and the teacher there in the digital arts. I think that's been a pretty successful thing there so far that we've been able to work with them. I'd also like to thank Tony Carrillo, the Director of Fiscal. He does a lot of work around this, and his fiscal team, payroll, HR. As I said, it takes a full Army, student services, ed services, everybody to put together their budgets, turn everything in on time, so he and his team can actually work with me and put this budget together. So big thanks there. All right, today we'll kind of go from, as we normally do, go from the overview of the economy and state, as Charlie would like for us to do there, and then we'll conclude with positive certification, and in between we'll talk about our actual local budget. All right, so to start out with our gross domestic product, there's usually 3 slides that I show. Gross domestic product is one of them. Something a little different here, though, is you can see that the capital expenditures that AI is generating here is almost 2% higher than that GDP at 2.7% there at the end. Keep in mind these are a couple months old, but you can see how AI is really drawing is really behind our economy right now, and is what's really driving our positive economy. You'll see that as well in the stock market here, how things continue to go up. Much of that is AI. Few things interesting on this slide, though, is you can see what happened when the Supreme Court tariff ruling came in, had a little bump, and then it went down. Then all of a sudden, the Middle East conflict, again, little bump, then began to go down quite a bit. And then all of a sudden, the crude oil closes over 100, and it began to grow. As you can see, is just this last little bit here. And again, this is at least a month old here, but it's staying high. But I believe it hit some records highs there around beginning of May. You can see that little spike, and that's really attributed to both NASDAQ and S&P 500. So things are beginning to grow, but also you can sort of see that last little dip there. So we'll see how things are going as we move along here. And then the other one is the labor market, which I usually present on. So economists increasingly describe the labor market as stable but paralyzed. So you can sort of see what they're talking about from January to January, particularly in both the U.S. and California. It stayed pretty stable. For the U.S. unemployment, it's been about 4.3%, right around that for the entire year, and about 5.4%. Unfortunately, that dotted line got erased, but the dotted line is California. So you can kind of see that. And then it also attributes to the job openings as well. There's less and less job openings that you see there. So, and the same thing is happening in California. There's even less than what the federal U.S. is showing there. So, all right, now as far as the state is concerned and what's going on with that and the May revision and some of the assumptions that we put into the budget, you might have heard that COLA was going to come out at 2.87, and then they decided to put an additional augmentation in there of 1.44%, which leads us to 4.31% COLA. There is some offsets there, though. They put in the 1.44%, and we'll kind of discuss this in another slide, assumption slide. It'll be shown again. But there's now a 14-week paid pregnancy disability leave that's the reason why the governor decided and the legislature decided to expand the COLA for this particular year, and it's continues ongoing because once it's with us, it's there. But that expense is sort of they're saying they're not going to give us any more mandated costs, revenue with it. They're just going to expand our LCFF, and from this point on, the districts are just going to have to pay for it. So then Prop 98 also, there's still a settle up that's going on, but part of this whole thing was that settle up was $3.9 billion, and it began to grow as new taxes came in. So they upped it by $6.4 billion in a Prop 98, but there's still a settle up that's needed. The taxes came in higher and higher for 25, 26, and expected for 26, 27, and they actually go back. It's weird because we go forward 3 years, but they kind of go back. So taxes came in higher for 24, 25 than it was expected, 25, 26, and is expected in 26, 27. So that's why we see these one-time amounts. That's why you're seeing that next one right next to that, the $5 billion block grant. We get, it's looking like about 937 per ADA. Now we're holding off on that one as far as budgeting any sort of expenses. We'll probably use it for our deficit spending mainly because we have a lot of great programs already in place that the discretionary block grant kind of already calls out, like professional development and student support and stuff. But right now they're still fighting at the legislative as to how much is going to be given and how that money is going to be allocated. So we've taken caution with that and haven't budgeted those expenses out of that. So just keep that in mind as we go through. We're still looking at that revenue that can support what I'm going to show you in the budget a little later. So we're also getting a bump in sped increase. So that's going to go up about $340 to $1,340 per funded ADA. That was a blessing. As you guys know, our special ed funding continues to grow. We continue to throw more contributions to that from the general fund. So this was a big help for us. And then because of some of these things that have happened, it's going to trigger this reserve cap, or at least it's expected to where you have to maintain at least a 10% combined assigned, unassigned, and unrestricted ending fund balance. Now that doesn't include the board committed money. So that's 10% without that board committed money. It's your reserves, it's your assignments, it's your unassigned, and it's your Fund 17, but it does not include the commitments. And then I already talked about the paid pregnancy disability up to 14 weeks full pay. That is why that 1.44 was built in. Something I wanted the board to be very aware of, and I'll kind of point out how this really works. This is called the Education Protection Act. And Karen Johnson will be very glad I'm supporting this as well and trying to get everybody else to support it, because this is where everybody has come together, including the California Teachers Association and all the admin associations and so forth, probably CSBA as well, to support this bill, because this is the one penny tax that was put on in 2012 by Jerry Brown through Prop 30, and then it was extended with Prop 55. It's going to go back on the ballot because it's expected to end in 2030. So they're getting ahead of that, and we're wanting it back on the ballot in order to make sure it goes permanent this time. So there's not going to be a sunshine to it. This will be permanent. So I'm urging everybody to really vote for this, and I'll explain why here in a slide coming up. All right, so here's what's kind of been happening in California is since LCFF started in 2013-14, we've been getting a lot more funding than we used to get prior to that for schools, and we've been enjoying the benefits of this through salaries and and so forth, and our expenses going up and our supports going up for our students and so forth. But as you can see, the one thing that's really kind of causing the expenditures to go up even more so is that health and welfare benefits. And that's what's happening on the other side of the budget too, because the majority of the other, about 40% of the state budget is education. The majority of the rest of the budget is health and welfare. So we're having a real expense issue with health and welfare benefits here in the state, and we're also seeing it because it's going up in the state. It's also going up in our school districts, and you can see that 496.2% increase over the last decade or so here, and that's caused the expenses to kind of continue to outgrow our revenues. All right, here we have our combined general fund. As you can see, Charlie alluded to this earlier in the study session. We have about a $450 million budget. Most of that, 68% of that, is LCFF resources. And as you know, we've had a declining enrollment situation. So this is where you see that declining enrollment and 88% and all that come to life. Because you can see the percentage change from 25-26 to the projected 26-27 is only 2.1%. Well, what did I say COLA was? 4.31. So all COLA did was help us kind of dig out of the hole a little bit from the declining enrollment and our lowering 88 percentages and so forth. So that's really, ultimately, when you look at it, that's the increase that we're looking at right there at this particular moment. Now, there are all kinds of variables to that change throughout the year, so I'll explain that in another slide. As you can see, we have some other revenues there that are increasing. Some of those are the federal title dollars, even though we have heard from the federal government that they're looking to, or at least one person's looking to reduce that those titles. But so far they're staying pretty stagnant, if not growing a little bit, as they work through that. And then the other state ones are that discretionary block grant I talked about earlier, learning recovery grant, mandated costs. Those have all increased a bit, but lots of that other state increase you got to be careful of because it's one-time state increased dollars. And then the other local is through the special education increase that we got. It actually goes to the SELPA and comes to us through local dollars here. All right, so now let's talk about the expenditure side a little bit. And you're going to notice some interesting things there. The certificated salaries and the classified salaries tend to mirror the LCFF and what we get. We support our employees with as much as we can, and we've already negotiated with the certificated side. We're about to negotiate with the classified side, but all that's been budgeted in here and already already budgeted in here, I guess, for lack of a better word. You might see the books and supplies and question yourself, why are books and supplies and services and capital outlay so reduced? That's because of one-time dollars. As we spend down the one-time dollars, they're not in your ongoing budget anymore, so that you reduce it out from 25-26 to 26-27. So they're not an ongoing reduction. Most of that is just a one-time reductions that were spent in 25-26 that won't be spent again in 26-27, but then it'll continue to carry. Okay, so some key assumptions here. I've already talked about a lot of the revenue assumptions. I'm not going to read all of that. Some of the expenditure assumptions I've already talked about as well. Certificated salary increases per the negotiated agreement have already been assumed in here. Classified salary increases also have been projected in here. We obviously don't know exactly what that's going to be, as well as health and welfare, and some of the one-time spending money, increases in utilities, increases in special ed, and every year, according to our transportation contract, there's a 3% increase on transportation for the 5-year contract that we have that. Any questions so far? Are you good? Okay. Fund balance here. So let's talk a little bit about that. This is a combined fund balance, the first 3 big squares there anyway. We started out with $133 million at the beginning, July 1. It's looking like our net decrease is going to be about $9.5 million. Again, we won't know for sure until we close the books, and lots of times there is some fallout that comes out of there, so we'll represent on our unaudited actuals. This is a constant changing thing. So the end balance combined is looking like $124.4 million, with unrestricted end balance by the end of the budget year, which is the 2027, was looking like $55.9 million. Again, if there's fallout, those numbers are going to change and go up. If there's additional expenditures or less revenue, obviously those change as well. You can see for 26-27 projected, the restricted is reduced. And again, a lot of that is the one-time money. That's where it gets put and it gets reduced. You're spending it down. It's not coming back. So that's why you see that negative 6%. Commitments is still there at the approximately $27.7 million that the board has committed. Our 3% reserves are there. The reason why that's a reduction is because there's a reduction in expenditures, so it's 3% of the expenditures, so that's going to fluctuate. It's not an actual, we're losing 2%. And then the assignments, as those get put into the budget, those get reduced as well. So this is an interesting slide for us, and one to kind of keep, sort of pay attention to each year. Keep in mind that the state average for the unrestricted fund balance is about, for our size district and a unified district, is about 22%. Usually 17% is considered about 2 months of cash. So you can see here at the end of the 25-26 projected year, we're still sitting there. Even at the end of 26-27, we're right pretty close to that. It's not till the out years, and this is a pretty typical thing that we see, the out years where you have some lower percentage even dropping down to, again, these are projections, down to potentially 8.3%, with even, that's using up all of Fund 17 and all the assignments, still keeping our 3% reserve, which gives us a positive certification, and potentially using some of that commitment. Will that happen? Probably not. And just to give you an example of that, last year at this time when I was presenting on 25-26, which would have been year one, that was at 17.1%. Now it's looking like 17.8. 26-27 was 14.6. Now it's looking like 16. And then 27-28 at this time last year was 11.1. Now it's looking like 12.1. So you can see how we continue to adjust and make changes, cuts and whatnot that continue to save in our fund balance. So yes, these are low. And certainly 8.3 is lower than the third year out, which was 11.1. But there's 3 years. We got time to make that up, and we'll talk about that here in this next slide right here, the stabilization plan. So this is kind of how that stabilization plan's been going. Very well. When you look at it on the surface, we've saved about $23 million through non-position and position reductions. However, we have had to, over the same period here, 23-24, and even into the budget year, we've had to increase some of these areas, mostly in the restricted side, mostly for special ed needs, is we've had to increase about $8.5 million. That's an approximation. It's not it's not exact. It's just basically taking a comparison of where we were with teachers each particular year and the difference in assigning a particular value to each teacher. So it's not analyzing exact amounts, but that's an approximation. The same thing happens for continued plan reductions. We have another 6.1 and 1.7 planned in the out years that are still a part of the stabilization plan. So that was part of the original 30 million. And if you remember, all along I've been saying 30 to 36 million, which that means that we basically still have, because of that up and down mark there, about 8 to 14 million still to try to work on and get additional reductions. But keep in mind that's over a period. Just to put that in perspective, though, it's really 1.7% to 3% of your budget. So it's not a whole lot there, but it certainly is ongoing amounts is a big help to the budget. All right, now get into multi-year projections a little bit. Keep in mind that projections are, they're not crystal balls, they're not predictions. Most of the time they're wrong. We're just doing basically our best guess with what we know at this particular moment in time. And you'll see a slide in here. In fact, it's the next slide. All of these are very fluid. They change throughout the year as they become certified. We're pretty much projecting our ADA, we're projecting our enrollment, we're projecting all of these here, what COLA is going to be. I guarantee you every single one of those will change in some fashion, whether it be up or down. So that's why we do interims. You know, it's not like a normal budget where, you know, a business might set a budget and really stick to that throughout the year. Education budgets are very fluid because these things get certified throughout different portions of the year, and that's where the interims come in, that we update our budget as we move on in all the way through the year, first interim, second interim, estimated actuals until we finally get to unaudited actuals. So I think that's important to understand. It's just, that's the reason why you see all these changes and whatnot, is because it's very fluid. So each time I show different ways of looking at this, the revenues and expenditures. This is our unrestricted fund. As you can see, the revenues are not outpacing our expenditures. We're having to bring in transfer money from Fund 17, for example, to support this. Shows it a little bit better on this slide right here. You can see in the blue there the transfers in, and that's not all for deficit. Some of it goes toward the transfer out goes out for our 3% reserve. Some of it comes in for other things, but it's really to support that deficit. Mainly is where we get the transfers in. So if you sort of look at that transfer in plus the actual decrease that you're looking at, that's really, you know, most of that transfer in plus that decrease is what your real deficit is looking like right there. So like I said, that 8 to 14 million would really go a long ways to supporting these deficit spending. And again, these are deficit projections. You know, the spending hasn't actually occurred yet, so there's time. As you can see, by that third year, I already explained, we still have our 3% reserve, but the total amount is about 8.1% when you add up the committed and the reserve. This is just another way of looking at it. This is actually the combined. The last two slides have been unrestricted. So as you look at the combined, it's still showing the deficit spending. Some of this, and when you combine it, some of this shows the one-time expenditures and the ongoing expenditures. It's hard to sort of differentiate between those two on a slide like this, but just know that, you know, my team and I keep very close eye on, and you've seen how we reduced out those one-time expenditures from year to year to make sure that they're not following us. But this is another pretty good graphic of our combined revenue here and expenditures and what's going on there. This is obviously in millions. So as you can see, the revenue, the blue line has been fairly flat. And just like the LCFF, it's fairly flat because of our declining enrollment. So we might get these COLA, we get, you know, declining enrollment lowers it, we get COLA, kind of increases it, but it's remaining pretty flat from even 24, 25, all the way to 28, 29. And from that point, I start having it projected to kind of start increasing there. And as you can see, our expenditures, you know, tend to follow that. But in 28, 29, because expenditures and prices and things are increasing so much, you know, those out years, it's hard to project those, but you can see that we're projecting it to be a little bit higher expenses as what's going on. Again, those are projections. We'll find out as we get closer to that. And then as we go through this is just a different depiction of your unrestricted and restricted funds. Most of it, again, is personnel, no secret. As far as the other funds, Ms. Perez-Chica talked about her charter fund there. That's the second line down. They're very healthy at $5.6 million fund balance at the end of 26-27 is what we're expecting. So they're very healthy there. She's done a good job with her budget. Same thing with our cafeteria fund. You might remember that the state really wants us to start spending down that cafeteria fund. As you can see, it is getting spent down from a beginning balance of 21 down. So expected another $2 million in expenditures down to 19.2 there. The bond funds are getting spent down, which is Fund 21. Capital funds, developer fees, Fund 25 continues to get spent. That's got a healthy balance, but we're spending that down as well. Fund 40 also for facilities, still looking pretty healthy there. but a lot of that is redevelopment money that we're going to get less and less revenue in. So and that supports some of the general fund as well. That's where we had some of that transfer in that I talked about that wasn't a part of Fund 17. So but we're pretty healthy there as well. So we have some nice healthy backup. This is a budget cycle. It's just a required slide that I have to put in there, but I already talked about the interims and the unaudited actuals. We already kind of know when those are coming into place. And as I said, we do have a stabilization plan in place and just plans in general to work on these reductions. So we still have our 3% reserve at the end of that 3 years. We're still able to pay all of our bills at the end of the 3 years. So that's what is considered a positive certification. Any comments, questions? We good?
Any questions?
Okay. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Simmons. Item 14, public hearing. The board now opens the public hearings for the local control and accountability plan for both Palm Springs Unified School District and Cielo Vista Charter. Have any written comments been received by the district as to the local control accountability plans?
No written comments have been received.
Is there anyone present who wishes to provide comments on either plan? Seeing there is no comments, later in the agenda, the board will consider approval of the local control accountability plans for Palm Springs Unified School District and Cielo Vista Charter. I now declare the public hearing closed. 14C, public hearing regarding the Palm Springs Unified School District 2026-2027 budget adoption and the 2025-2026 estimated actuals, OE 5.1. The board now opens the public hearing on the 2026-2027 budget adoption and the 2025-2026 estimated actuals as required by Ed Code 42127. Have any written comments been received by the district as to the Palm Springs Unified School District 2025-2027 budget and the 2025-2026 estimated actuals?
No written comments have been received.
Is there anyone present who wishes to provide oral comments as to the Palm Springs Unified School District 2026-2027 budget and the 2025-2026 estimated actuals? Seeing no oral comments, I now declare the public hearing closed. Item 15, board member comments. Do any members of the board have any comments this evening, and who would like to go first? Mr. Sparaqueta?
Okay. Thank you. That's correct. Yeah, I would like to start, to change the old presentation that was done today, the first one during the study session by Selena Amada and the all staff. Thank you for the good presentation, and the LCAP presentation by Mr. Arnold, and these few minutes ago the budget presentation, Mr. Simmons. Thank you for well-informed presentation. In this previous week was the busy week for everyone, and I attended in May 17th, continue with the recognition for the student, the week street naming ceremony. That one was in Desert Hot Spring Street. They honor two scholars from Mount San Jacinto Ewit, Senior Katia Martinez, and Desert Hot Spring High School Joel Ruiz. They was very role model student and inspiring student for their peers. And I want to thank all the support the student in many events. For example, for that one, in the naming recognition, we have the board member Gerardi was there with me, Dr. Funches, John Boyko, principals, assistant principal, teacher, parent, family, staff, and also the city of Desejate Springs, the mayor, city consort, and representative from Dr. Raul Ruiz's office, and media covered by CBS and Notivalle. Thank you all. And also, I attended the Jen Warmer Middle School Honor Dessert. That was full house, we can say, around more 300 attendees to honor the student, giving recognition, giving recognition for many categories. And after that, we start the graduation. We had all graduation, Desert Learning Academy, Mount San Jacinto, the Palm Springs High School, Catira City High School, Rancho Mirage, Mount San Jacinto. We had all graduation, and in the middle of that, also I don't want to forget to remind the Sister Cities Cultural Exchange Celebration in Vista del Monte Elementary. That one was the sister city from San Miguel de Allende. That city is in Guanajuato State in Mexico. Talking about the all graduations, I want to thank everyone that is involved in that, because the whole school is move the whole potential, to honor the student in the graduation, staff, administrator, teacher, community, parents. Thank you all. And when I come into the meeting today, I see the parking lot full of cars. That means that the school district don't stop preparing for the next school year. Thank you all, and I hope that the one that have, I can say I have the luck to have vacation and during the summer, well reserved, and some employees and staff board members, we continue preparing for the next year. Thank you all, and it's it with that in my report. Thank you.
Okay.
So with our trustees, we were so honored to be invited to so many events. And with board trustee Esperi Cueta, I was at the honors dessert at James Workman. They changed it from the daytime to the nighttime. So it went from like a little to out of this world. More than 400 people, 150 awards. First time they've ever done this, and they honored kids for their GPAs and making those important grades for themselves. And I want to say this was really serious, and the parents were notified by a letter saying the kids were going to get an award, and the kids didn't know what they were going to get. So this was a curiosity built right into their, to the families. So they lined up. They had a dress code of semi-formal. They had desserts, 750 desserts, and they had the whole, oh my gosh, ASB decorated the whole entire, multi-purpose room. So I encourage the board and everyone to go next year because it was just an amazing night. With Mr. Espericueta and other board members, we were able to go to all of the ceremonies for graduation, Desert Hot Springs, Mount San Jacinto, with 5 speakers, especially Jairo Calderon, the kid that overcame the accident troubles that he had, and even almost not making it to the speech because of difficulties with his injuries. Amazing. And that for me, was one of the top moments of all these past 8 days, or how many days. That was DLA. Palm Springs High School graduation, Forever an Indian. I have to say, the two that really helped me look at the audience and really see that participation and that village come out were Desert Hot Springs High School and Palm Springs Palm Springs High School, and the last one was Cathedral City High School. And I don't know if it's about a ticket thing and how many people get, but they were the happiest crowds because they were, I was telling Dr. Funches, look out, there's a city here. And there were 5,000 people in the stadium at Palm Springs High School. For me, that was spectacular because the kids that were in those chairs could look out and see that support. That was so incredible. And so thank you again to all of the people, the executive board, all our administrators, all of the tech people, especially Rhythm Tech Productions, stage and lights, sound, because he was a local business owner who went to school. I think his name was Ricky, went to school at Palm Springs High School. All the, Richard Haga did live streaming. One of the students could speak to his grandmother in Tagalog and talk to her in Philippine language to tell her how much he loved her. That was exceptional. I thank the people who gave us assistance in just moving the diplomas into our arms, because sometimes, juggling those and wanting to really shake the kids' hands and say something meaningful is really important. The directors from security, Tom on ASL, everyone that came to these ceremonies to support these graduates, and Dr. Funches, giving those kids that let's go time was just empowering, and they'll never forget those words. So that was excellent in motion, all of it. I want to say congratulations to our newly voted in board members. We have 5 new board members. We had the chance to meet one on the night we were at Cathedral City graduation, and we're excited to meet them and see them come into our wonderful board and adopt them for a year. So that's exciting. Nellie Kaufman, Skills USA, Connie Mitchell, Bianca Herrera, all of them. So happy to see them excel and be national winners. Just phenomenal. Also to Palm Springs High School, their broadcasting team, going to Atlanta, just great opportunities for kids. First time to get on an airplane. Also, Sarah Phelps, who helped Jennifer Braun. We get messages with almost, I saw it on the newscast, Joan, is it 3 million meals they're going to serve this summer alone, from here all the way down to Coachella and Thermal, that the summer program for food nutrition is going to be that big of a program coming up. Is that right? 3 million, it was in the... Oh, this was school this year. 100,000 for the summer. That's still grand, just grand. Congratulations to all of the people that helped those meals go out because of insecurity, food insecurity. I don't know if you read that the Honda dealership and Toyota of the desert, they gave out food bags for students who had food insecurities. That's a community that's coming together that sometimes we don't see it in the news, but we see it in Joan's posts that, these are the mentions, media mentions, just some of them. Today we had Celine Murada Tirado and Meredith Brown from AALRR, and they were excellent in helping us understand our vendor selection and what we can do and can't do, and what we can do to boost local, participation in helping our vendors come into our school district as well. Today, I was able to just have the best day ever. Going with our board president, Gurnett, and Mr. Irvin to see Dr. Ricky Rigsby and hear his story and how he has given our staff a new jump start and rejuvenation on some really common sense things. And that's what he was talking about. Things that help us believe in the value of instructional leadership. And he brought his famous quotes. He brought so many, I think, most memorable words to us and helped us remember what our why is. And so to him, and then the instructional leadership afternoon with all of the leaders in the district, and being with Dr. Kovacs, Jessica Whiteman, Deanna Killian, and understanding the instructional leadership role and tools that will help our leaders promote these instructional strategies. It was like I could not take notes fast enough. I took pictures. This was just a phenomenal day, and this is out to you, Dr. Funches. In my 10 years, and all of you, we have never been invited to something like that. And I appreciate you opening the doors and helping us be partners in making differences in our district. So that was just a powerful morning and afternoon, and I appreciate you giving us that invitation. So thank you.
Just real quick, I want to thank all our staff members who gave us really informative presentations today. Very well done. I want to thank all our public speakers. Again, I say this all the time, but you really bring a different perspective that I don't always think about, particularly those two young ladies from Nellie Kaufman School. Yeah, I see future leaders there, to be honest with you. Their poise up here was just tremendous. And, I understand their passion for wanting an 8th grade promotion. And I toy with it, or I struggle with this. I can see two sides of the story. You want to honor what you've accomplished, no question, but that's not the end goal. So, we got to keep that in mind too. But I really appreciate your perspective, and it's going to make me think about it a little bit more. Congratulations again to Nellie Kaufman, the Skills USA team, for their tremendous accomplishments. And I just want to send my regrets to all our administrators, our teachers, our staff for missing the graduations this year. It's something that kept me from going. I was there in heart and spirit, believe me. I saw a lot of them, at least pictures online. I read a lot of the stories online. They were very well done, and everybody deserves a real good, strong congratulations. Enjoy your summer, everybody, and come back refreshed and rejuvenated. Thank you.
All right, and just like everyone else has echoed up here, we all attended, except for John, we all attended the graduations, and for me, it's always incredible to see the community that's around the schools, and how you'll see people hanging outside of on the gate looking in at the graduations, standing around, people standing down below. The idea of having it at their school gives such a sense of pride, and it, it just, you can just feel the energy from every one of the schools and their own unique identities that they have, and the different things that they bring to their community. And I just want to say, I think that we should really try to consider keeping it at those schools because of the different challenges and the different things that it brings out of our students and our communities and families. And so also, I want to say congratulations as well to those students at Nellie and Kaufman for the Skills USA Challenge. That is also something amazing. National champions. A lot of people don't get to say that in their lifetime, let alone in elementary school or high school, being able to say that you're the national champion of something is amazing. And congratulations to all those young students. Also, I would like to take a moment to say, mention Martha. It was also disappointing, Miss Hunter, to hear, that her career was cut a little short, and we wish we could have been able to retain and keep her here in our district. Sounded like she was an amazing teacher, and so we wish you well, and I would like to say that, I feel kind of bad for you that way. I hope that there's something that we can do in the future to not lose any of our staff. Also, with the 8th grade promotions, I don't know, I kind of struggle a little bit also with that, John, but, from the perspective of maybe it's not necessarily the end, but just a pause to reflect. And so I think that 8th grade promotion kind of gives them a second to pause and reflect and say, hey, I've gotten halfway through, or I'm almost at my goal. It's something I also had in school. It was something that I look forward to. It's always great to have family and be able to cherish and honor any milestone or achievement that you receive. And for some reason, 6th grade to 8th grade is such a big, huge step. And, it means so much to go from that 8th grade to the 9th grade. And so, and I do understand what you mean, that the job is not done, but maybe something else that we can do a little bit different to work on that. Also, just to piggyback as well on the graduations, we had 261 students at Cathedral City High School. Desert Learning Academy had 345 students. Desert Hot Springs had 305 students graduate. Mount San Jacinto had 190. Palm Springs High School had 352 students. And Rancho Mirage had 333 students. And so that was, that's a lot of students and a lot of putting this together. And I want to say thank you as well, as Madonna said, to all those people, even the grounds crew. The something as low as security working extra hours to stay there to make sure that all and everyone is there and not making anyone feel like they have to really leave. That they seem to be there, but they really weren't there. And so for a moment of celebration and a great honor like that, to know that they're there, but not to make you feel like you have to leave, I just want to say congratulations and thank you to them. You guys do a wonderful job, and you actually matter. And everyone who was involved in it, great job, great job. And like Madonna said, Ricky Risby was really great this afternoon. His energy, you could tell right away as soon as we got into the building. It's like, that guy's a pastor. He was jumping around, doing all of this, moving his hands, and he just had so much energy. And I remember one of the comments that he made was from John Wooden. He referred to John Wooden at UCLA, the basketball coach. And he said, we get all of these amazing athletes. We have all of these scholars and all these great athletes. But the most important thing is always keep it basic. Always keep the simple things always on the top of your list. And one of the things that he said was, when he gets his basketball players into the building, one of the first things that he tells them to do, or he teaches them to do, is put on their socks properly. And so you would think that wouldn't matter, but these gentlemen have to use their feet. They have to run. They have to protect themselves. They have to do everything. So putting on their socks is very important. The next step that he said was putting on your shoes. It's so simple. These things are so basic. And so he taught these athletes how to do that because, if you put your shoes on incorrectly and tie your shoes wrong, you can slip and fall, injure yourself, or get hurt. Just keeping everything basic and simple. And so that's what I got from that speech. And like everyone has said here, thank you for inviting us to it. We haven't had an opportunity to do that. It's not that maybe it wasn't that anyone who was in that seat didn't want to. It's just maybe sometimes it just doesn't come up. But I appreciate that you considered us and thought that leadership is not something that just starts with one group. Leadership starts with everyone. We all can learn what leadership is. We all can learn how to be great listeners and informative, leaders. And I think that was a great opportunity for us even to have lunch with some of our principals. We were able to have lunch and talk to some of the principals just about, basically anything. Give them an opportunity to put some of those barriers and break them down, and give an opportunity to meet us personally and just have a conversation with us. So thank you for that. Also, Madonna spoke on it a little bit about the study session that we had a little earlier. The study session, if you don't have an opportunity, please go back. It's on YouTube. It's available for you. You don't have to necessarily watch it today. You can watch it whenever you want to. But these study sessions have really important things on it. And we're trying to be intentional as a district and as a board. We want to say that we want to do what we can for our local businesses and give them an opportunity to have a chance to get some of these contracts. Jeff had spoke about it, with the $400 million budget, it's a great opportunity for us to be able to change the lives and have impact. We continue to see that 92% of our families and are in social economically challenged situations. So we have an opportunity to change economics. We have an opportunity to do something that is different. But we need your participation. We need you to get involved. We need those local businesses. If we have accounts, we have things that are available. Participate, come out, ask questions, and we're trying to do everything we can. And so that concludes my comments.
Thank you all. I really want to thank the people who came tonight to provide public comment. It's really difficult, I know, sometimes to get up and speak in front of the board and in front of an audience, but people that come here, they're passionate about what they want us to hear, so I commend them, and we do listen to you, and we do look for our team and our cabinet and our superintendent to hear that also and to act on it. And our congratulations to tonight's honorees. It was really special to see them and to see the kids come and get their awards also. Also, I want to thank the business department and for presenting on expanding local vendor participation. I know it took a lot of time to put that together, and it's something that we want to work on, so I thank you for that. And also, Mr. Mark Arnold, for your presentation tonight. LCAP's very important, all of the money that we get for them and how we spend it. So that's always something that we need to know about. And also to Mr. Simmons, you always keep us up to date, and we enjoy your talk so much. So thank you for that. I'm not teasing you. You're truly right. No, without the business department, where would we be? Right. We couldn't operate because that is how we run, is we need money to run, and you keep us informed, so I really appreciate that. Along with Dr. Funches, cabinet members, and other district staff and board members, we were really fortunate. We got to attend all 6 high school graduations. They were very special. They're always unique, each one, because the high schools are unique, and the speakers were fabulous. The parents and family members were so gracious and lovely, and I think everybody really had a good time, and it was really wonderful to see so many kids graduating in our district. I also got to attend Alder commencement ceremony in Whittier, which was fabulous, and we're at least 23 or 24 of our Alder cohort participants received their Masters of Arts in Education, along with 12 other cohort graduate programs, which is really fabulous to see that many people wanting to go into their local school districts to teach, and it's a fabulous Grow Your Own program. So I don't know if you want to say anything more about that.
No, I appreciate you mentioning it. It's a great program. Alexis Acker does a great job with that, but it takes a whole team to keep those grants coming in, the stipends, but yeah, absolutely agree. Great opportunity to grow our own, and great recruitment opportunity for us too. We recruit quite a few of those folks. Some of them trickle down Valley, but yeah, I agree. A wonderful program.
It is, and the parents there and the families. It was warm that day, but it was well worth seeing them graduate. Also, congratulations to all of, again, high school, middle school, and staffs for hosting many of the awards and promotion ceremonies. We do have promotion ceremonies at elementary school, and we used to have them at middle school, which were well attended by parents and I think very well appreciated. So that is something that hopefully we'll look at as a district, because they kind of went away after COVID. Also, I want to say thank you to all of the Palm Springs Unified School District staff for your dedication to our scholars, our families, our community during this past school year. Hoping everyone can have a little time out, have a little rest, and come back refreshed. And also a big congratulations to Nellie Kaufman, Skills USA. Job well done. That concludes my comments, and now we're on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Board President. Just a couple slides here. We are at the end of the 2026 school year, and I do concur with all the statements made here. Thank you to all of our staff, everyone here who helps us be excellent for our community. Shout out to Celine, Mrs. Brown, this afternoon for educating us around some of those complex issues with regard to procurement and how we expand. Job well done. And Mr. Arnold tonight, pinch hitting, coming in and making sure that we got up to speed with LCAP. Thank you, sir. And Mr. Simmons, want to thank you for your comprehensive budget report and the positive certification.
Yes.
It's a big deal for any school district. Thank you, sir, for your work on that. And Tony as well. Appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much. Next slide, please. So all I want to do is just point out the graduations. And our high school scholars, their families, our high school administrative teams. We actually, it was very emotional, right? To see the young people and speaking and talking about their educational careers and experiences here in Palm Springs Unified School District. Very proud of them, very proud of our staff, our leaders, our board, our executive team, cabinet team as well, as you see those pictures there. Congratulations to all graduates. Next slide. And then once again, want to highlight those 14 scholars from Nellie Kaufman Middle School. As Mr. Irvin stated, it's excellent to say you're a national champion. And shouts out to Connie Mitchell, Blanca Lamus, and I think Jorge Tucker. Yeah, job well done coaching those young people. And then Palm Springs High School, the film team, broadcast team as well, placed in the top 15. And shout out to Donnie Papp as well, the educator there. Thank you very much. Last slide. And this is the one that we've been talking about tonight. Once again, our hats off to Mr. Simmons and Business Services, Sarah Phelps. We're going to play this clip that was shown on, I think, NBC, KESQ. And this is a big deal for this Coachella Valley, right? And Palm Springs Unified is leading the way to feed our communities during the summer month, especially right now during times when we have many families that are trying to figure things out, right? So please play that clip, and then we'll close out on that one. And hopefully it works. Like I said,
The Body Deli, the must-see destination for organic raw beauty. Visit your nearest location today.
We'll give it another few seconds.
Might work.
And if it doesn't pull up here, I'll just say what Mrs. Jarrell mentioned. Not only are we giving scholars here in our school district opportunities for breakfast and lunch every day, but families that are out there can show up to our different centers with their children families, whether they are in our district or not, and receive breakfast and lunch. That's huge.
Mhm.
That is, no worries. We got to move. But hats off to our Nutrition Services Department, and I want to say thank you to our team. Job well done.
And you do have a little kind of brochure on your, yep, you see it there, Mr. Irvin.
All right. No video tonight, but thank you very
My
much.
husband and I decided we really needed a new mattress, so we
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Funches. We're on to item 17, approval of monitoring report governing policy, operational expectations, treatment of constituents, OE3. And that's Dr. Funches is going to present.
Real quick, this is an operational expectation that's under the superintendent's office. And the data comes from our panorama survey and also keeping track of it with our Title IX compliance office. And it's the treatment of our constituents. Next slide, please. And there are three major areas that we take a look at and make sure that we're doing well in so that we can receive basically a positive certification from our board. Protect confidential information. How do we do that? So I'll review that briefly. How do we effectively handle complaints so that our processes stay intact and those who have UCPs and other complaints felt heard? And then the last one, how do we maintain a welcoming environment? Next slide, please. And so in our district, over the 25-26 school year, we've had 0 reported breaches of confidentiality of information, 0 findings of breaches of confidence requiring corrective action, and all of our files in the superintendent's office, human resources office, electronic access within our devices, all are secure. And our board and cabinet communications in the Friday are very confidential. So 0 findings in requirement number 1, evidence of compliance. Next slide, please. Requirement number 2, in our annual parent surveys, when our parents take surveys in the panorama, they're asked about if our staff takes concerns seriously, do we welcome suggestions, do we respond in a timely manner, and does our school staff, is our school staff helpful? And if you look at the data there, the data demonstrates 94% of those respondents say that our staff takes concerns seriously, and that strongly agree or agree. Those are the markers. And 94% for welcoming suggestions, responding in a timely manner, and 96% for staff being helpful. These are what our families reported at our schools. Next slide, please. And organizational culture and parent outcomes. Our parents were also asked about high quality instruction, expectations, being welcome to participate and treated with respect. Also, you see some favorability there. Out of those responses there, 96% strongly agree or agree that our school sites have embarked on high quality instruction, 95%, high expectations for all scholars. They're welcomed to participate, and also 97% treated with respect. Last slide, please. And then staff climate. With our staff, the Panorama survey as well points out with strongly agree that we have supportive and inviting workplaces, 85% of our staff reporting that within this survey. Trust and collegiality among staff, 80% responded favorably. And then adult supports and treating each other respect as well came in at 80% of favorability with our respondents. So for this OE3, I am recommending that we are in compliance with respect to this operational expectation, and that the superintendent's office certifies that the preceding information is accurate and complete, and the district is in compliance.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve 17A?
I'll move it.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Are there any questions?
I just have a question. Marcus, I'm not trying to challenge anything, but with the number of students we've got in the district, what, 18,000 plus, and our parent survey is 2,700 parents. Is that is that a good sample to extrapolate? our
Yeah, that is a good
conclusion?
sample size.
It is?
It is a good sample size. You want more respondents, but that's a good sample size to give us trends, right? I think moving forward, we can ask our school sites to promote it more and maybe even get it out there a little bit earlier or take a look at some of the best practices that are out there. But that is a good sample size to give us trend data. Yes, sir.
Are there any other questions?
Just curious, so how long was this open for the parents?
I'm not sure how long the Panorama survey is open. 3 months.
Okay.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. 17B, approval of certificated and classified employment transactions, OE-4.4. Can I get a motion to approve 17B?
Move for approval.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. 17C, approval of declaration of need or fully qualified educators for 2026-2027 OE-4.12. Can I get a motion to approve 17C?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Anybody have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. 17D, approval of 2026 revised LCAP federal addendum for Palm Springs Unified School District OE-10. Can I get a motion to approve 17D? Can I get a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. 17E, approval of 2026 revised LCAP federal addendum for Cielo Vista Charter School OE-11. 10. Can I get a motion to approve 17E?
Move for approval.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. 17F, approval of revision to Palm Springs Unified School District Governing Board Policy BC-4, Officers' Roles BC-2. Can I get a motion to approve 17F?
Move for approval.
Can I get a second? Are there any questions?
Only our book will be updated and given another one?
Yes, as soon as we pass this.
Okay.
Yes. I'm looking at the person that updates them. She's shaking her head, yes. Thank you, Ms. Borrego. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. 17G, approval of revision to Board Bylaws 9320, Meetings and Notice, BC-6.2. Can I get a motion to approve 17G?
I move the motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion passed. 17H, approval of revision to Governing Board Policy B/SR-5, Superintendent Accountability, BC-6.2. Can I get a motion to approve 17H? Can I get a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion passed. 17I, approval of revision to Governing Board Policy B/SR-5-E, Annual Summative Evaluation of the Superintendent, BC-6.2. Can I get a motion to approve 17I?
Move for approval.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor? Motion passed. 17J, Adoption of Resolution Number 2025-2026-43, approval to provide a temporary loan to the general fund from capital funds for fiscal year 2026/2027 OE5. Can I get a motion to approve 17J?
So moved.
Can I get a second? Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. 17K, adoption of resolution number 2025-2026-44, approval to provide a temporary loan to the Child Development Fund from the general fund for fiscal year 2026-2027 OE-5. Can I get a motion to approve 17K?
Move for approval.
Can I get a second? Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Item 17L, adoption of resolution number 2025-2026-45, approval to provide a temporary loan to the Adult Education Fund from the General Fund for the fiscal year 2026-2027 OE-5. Can I get a motion to approve 17L?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion passed. 17M, approval to award bid number 04-26 Cathedral City Elementary School Summer Painting Project OE-6.4. Can I get a motion to approve 17M?
Move for approval.
Can I get a second? Thank you. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. 17N, approval to award RFP number NS-27-01 for the 2026-2027 school year, grocery processed USDA commodity and commercial equivalent food products, OE-6.3. Can I get a motion to approve 17N?
Move that.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion passed. 17O, approval to award RFP number NS-27-02 for the 2026-2027 school year, dairy products, OE-6.3. Can I get a motion to approve 17O?
Move for approval.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion passed. 17P, approval to award RFP number NS-27-03 for the 2026-2027 school year, fresh produce. Can I get a motion to approve 17P?
I move the motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion passed. 17Q, approval to renew RFP number NS-25-01 for the 2026-2027 school year, supplemental list number 1, OE-6.3. Can I get a motion to approve 17Q?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion passed. 17R, approval to renew RFP number NS-26-04 for the 2026-2027 school year, paper non-food products, OE-6.3. Can I get a motion to approve 17R?
I'll move it.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion passed. 17S, approval of rejection of claim number 2025-2026-12 versus Palm Springs Unified School District 673314, OE-7. Can I get a motion to approve 17S?
Move for approval.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rell? Thank you. Motion passed. 17T, approval of rejection of claim number 2025-2026-13 JB versus Palm Springs Unified School District 673336 OE-7. Can I get a motion to approve 17T?
I'll move it.
Can I get a second? Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion passed. The following items will be approved in one vote. 17U, 17W, 17X, 17Y, 17Z, 17AA, and 17AB. Do I need to read each one? No. Would anyone like to pull an item for discussion or review? Can I get a motion to approve 17U-17AB?
So moved.
Can I get a second? Okay. Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion passed. Superintendent's consent items, 17A through 18I. Would anyone like to pull an item for discussion or review? Okay. Can I get a motion then to approve superintendent's consent items 18A through 18I?
Move for approval.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion passed. 18A. Sorry, we already did all those. 19, suggestions for future agendas. Do any board members have suggestions for future agendas? Number 20, regular board meeting. Our regular board meeting will be held June 23rd, 2026 at 6 p.m. Does anybody have anything to debrief on?
I just have one more person that really went out of their way, and this is Marion Boucher. She really exerted so much energy and spirit and dedication to making sure our scholars, our families, and all of those beautiful ceremonies were covered, and Joan too, reaching out to all the stations for helping us celebrate all of the graduates. So Marion and Joan, bravo to both of you.
Number 22, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Move for approval.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.